going to strike Damascus with nukes. Also, they went on record as Tehran, Iran with nukes, and then even talking about tactical nuclear weapons in southern Lebanon, Gaza. And Gaza is an interesting biblical reference because in Zephaniah, that's not Zechariah, it's Zephaniah, the second chapter, fourth verse, it talks about Gaza literally being voided of people. Now, why is this so important right now?
Well, stop. I want to back up. Gaza, because they look like they're going to flatten it.
They are going to flatten it. And I'm telling you, Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 4 makes that very clear. They're going to flatten it. Gaza's going to be void of Palestinians, and also they're going to go and clean house. Now, I want to make a statement. I'll back it up. You cannot have the most effective intelligence agency in the world and the multiple levels from electronic surveillance to observation posts to tanks along the whole Gaza-Israeli border and have nobody there. And I want people to ask themselves these questions. First of all, how is it that not one bullet was fired in the defense of the Israelis that were slaughtered? We're going to get the answer in a minute. How did all this happen under their noses with the most sophisticated electronic surveillance in the world? There are Israeli companies that manufacture this stuff. How did this take place when it has been stated that the Israeli-Gaza border was impenetrable? And then you got to ask yourself, where did all of the military go? The battalions, the brigades, the companies, and where did an entire regular infantry brigade go that usually outnumbers the elite? So what we're talking about, Greg, is this was something that had to have been allowed. Now, for what purpose? Well, first of all, Israel cannot take on all these enemies at once. And Egypt warned Israel 3 days prior to that. Egypt has their own intelligence agency, very good, but they told them that this was coming. And I guess the Israeli high command chose not to listen to them. Now, because they didn't listen to Egypt, now because they didn't allow the Egyptian convoy with medicine and food and non-war materials to go into Gaza, now Egypt, with its 1 million man army, is on the border, their border with Israel. Now Jordan, which has been pretty much neutral, is on their border. Everybody's getting ready for the battle that's going to take place. And this is known as the Ezekiel War in Ezekiel 38 and 39. Some people want to say it's a Psalm 83 war. None of the nations that we're talking about that are openly known, for instance, Persia has been Iran. Iran has obviously new name, but Persia has existed. Egypt has existed, the oldest civilization in the world.
But this is not Armageddon.
This is not Armageddon.
Okay.
This is, and that's a really important point. I see people using them. It is not Armageddon. You have to have a war, and this thing's going to take place, and it's going to be fast and furious, that brings upon the man of peace known as the Antichrist. The Antichrist has to be, he's the man of peace. And we are watching the I guess you say almost the preamble-like effects going into, actions going into effect to bring on the Antichrist. So, now you've got people talking about nukes. And for the record, Iran has a nuclear arsenal. The lies that, they're going to have, uranium enrichment, that's all bogus. And I want to share with people that in biblical history, Iran was the most powerful, Persia in those days, was the most powerful world empire in even the unseen realm, that two of God's archangels, the premier archangels, Michael and Gabriel, had to fight 21 days with the prince of Persia, that's not an earthly prince, to bring the answer to Daniel the prophet's prayer. So the idea that Tehran is just going to be a pushover couldn't be further from the truth. And now we have the statement from Russia, I think 24 to 48 hours ago, that if the U.S. helps Israel in Gaza, then they're going to assume that's an attack on them too, and they will use all their weapons capability.
Okay, this is for the recording of Zephaniah 2 and 4. The Edomite was trying to break down, or he referenced rather. Let's read, right? It says, Zephaniah 2 and 4. It says, "For Gaza shall be forsaken, and Ashkelon a desolation. They shall drive out Ashdod at noonday, and Ekron shall be rooted out." So he using this precept basically to justify what they just did in Gaza. Basically, that's what Esau is doing. Right? Fifth verse, it says, "Woe unto the," because this the fifth verse, he didn't speak on, and I'm going to show you why. Fifth verse, "Woe unto the inhabitants of the seacoast, the nation of the Cherethites, the word of Yahweh is against you, O Canaan, the land of the Philistines. I will even destroy thee, that there should be no inhabitant." See why he didn't read it, right? Because Canaan, which became Israel, the land of Israel today, right? The land of Canaan was originally what? The Philistines, which are the Hamitic or so-called Africans today, right? That was originally, their land in ancient time. But we know since then it became Esau since he came into power during the Renaissance era, right? In the 1500s. And then they reclaimed it. Of course, we know the history with the Balfour Declaration 1 and 2, because it wasn't just 1948. It goes back to the first one in 1917. But anyway, they claimed that land, right? So, but if you want to go into prophecy, that land, y'all going to be destroyed out of it too. And then he made references lying once again, like the wicked. That's why you can never trust thine enemy. Okay, like it says in Ecclesiasticus or the book of Sirach, right? 12th chapter, 12 and 10, right? Just a reference. And then he referenced Ezekiel 38 and 39 chapter and straight lied and said, "Oh, it's not the battle of Armageddon." Yeah, it is, because it's a prelude to that. You're in the beginning stages of that. That's not going away. That's not going away. And that's just showing you the mind of the wicked and the minds of the oligarchs and their flawed lying spirit on them. Okay, but no, it is the prelude to the World War III for you to understand. Okay, that's not going nowhere. Okay, and them nations, Iran, all of them are equipped with nuclear weaponry. Okay, all the nations are. That's why the scripture said, "Let the weak say I'm strong," and they've been that way ever since. They have all nuclear warheads, all of them. And all the prophecy going to play out like it says in scripture. But I think I kind of went off topic a little, but I'm going back to Zephaniah 2 and 5, right? And basically that land also is going to be destroyed in a war, eventually, ultimately. And then, and you don't believe me, check the news, okay? And then the online, right? And then it says, 6th verse, it says, and the 6th and 7th verse referring to who? The children of Yasha'Allah. That's a future prophecy, right? I'm going to read it because it says, 6th verse, "And the seacoast shall be dwellings and cottages for shepherds and folds for the flocks." It says shall be dwellings, referring to future, right? 7th verse, "And the coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Judah. They shall feed thereupon in the houses of Ashkelon, and shall lie down in the evening, for Yahweh their power shall visit them and turn away their captivity." Because we the nation that's in captivity in Babylon, America. But see, he don't want to read those verses, right? You see why? Because it's going to reference the true children of Yasha'Allah. Okay, it mentions even the remnant. And you know that represents the remnant, which is 1/3 the remnant of Yasha'Allah, that's scattered in the earth. So yeah, man, now you see why he didn't want to reference that or mention these other precepts, especially number 5, because they don't want to admit that they're going to be destroyed in that land ultimately in World War III when it comes to a head. Even now, don't think they ain't taking no L's. They are. So bodies are dropping. People are dying as we speak. So, yeah, it's going to be a buildup. And it ain't going to be a long one either. Not from what I can see. But either way, the Most High is in charge. And prophecy shall be fulfilled. And we are living biblical prophecy. So with that, I'm going to say shalom until next time. Shalom.